Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. I wanted to bring a little exercise to the live today. It's feeling very mellow today. How about for you? I'm definitely feeling the autumn in the air. It's nice that I could come outside. Hello, Joy. Thanks for hopping on. Oh my gosh, how fun. I have something fun for us today. It's, I think you'll like it since you like the card pulls. So I'm really feeling this mellow Sunday energy today. Yeah, exactly. Yesterday I stayed home and I actually caught up on some classes that I've missed. And I'm gonna let this airplane move away from us so you can hear me. And yeah, today feels even almost like I feel it like the sinking even more deeply into a very mellow, cozy feeling. And yesterday it rained. I'm sure that's partly why we were feeling what we were feeling, because when it rains, it's like it's just in the air, that kind of like cozy. But today I'm glad that I can do my live outside, because there's only so much more time we get to do this outside. So I have to say, I want to share with you all that so what I love about these lives is really recently, Facebook is now giving you the opportunity to download the lives before you post it. So when I end this live, what will happen is Facebook will say, oh, okay, do you want to post this live? Do you want to download the live? And before, even just a few weeks ago, you couldn't download the live. You would just post it, right? Now you get the option to download and post it. So what I've been doing, which has actually been a solution to a challenge I was having, is that now I can actually download these lives and I can actually post them on YouTube, because I have a new YouTube channel for my astrology and healing arts. And the challenge that I was in earlier was that, well, if I've committed to these 365-day lives on Facebook. I've got quite a ways to go. I think we're about 5 months plus some days or whatever into it. So I've got like a half a year to go. And the challenge there is that, it's challenging to go on live here and then turn around and do another video for YouTube, when I would just really be talking about probably the same things, because I do often talk about astrological transits. So recently I found that I can actually now download these and then post them on YouTube. So you might have noticed, if you follow my timeline, that I've been posting these YouTube videos that are really just the same talk that I've given on Facebook. And I only do specific ones that I feel are appropriate for YouTube. But the thing is that the more activity you put out, the more posts you have on YouTube, the more that YouTube will actually put your videos out as a potential for people that like the same things or like your subject, for them to even see that it's there, for them to even see your channel. So what I've been working with recently is just that this is a very new YouTube channel. So YouTube is probably not putting out my posts, especially because I was doing like one video a month or even a couple months. Now I'm trying to do, every day or as much as I can, because then YouTube will actually put out my my content. And my hope is to get at least 1,000 subscribers so that I can start going live there. What's nice is now I can download the talks that I do on Facebook, and I can put them on YouTube. And probably what will happen is that once I'm done doing these 365-day lives on Facebook, I will then start doing lives on YouTube, which I have to have 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you'd like to share some support for me, then please subscribe to my channel. You can find my channel on my timeline. So you can just go to my page and find a YouTube video, and then I'll just take you there and you can subscribe if you like. And if you like following, you know, what I'm sharing with you all, because this is only going to grow and develop the more I do it, and also, of course, the more that I continue to post on YouTube as well. It's really exciting for me because I've just to even see how I've grown in 5.5 months or so by doing a live every day is phenomenal for me, and it's been extremely transforming. And so I'm really excited to see how I continuously develop and grow and expand and actually make all the content that I share more rich, more potent. And so you'll notice probably that you're going to find me going, I'm trying to stop saying hi Facebook. So I'm trying to say hello everyone, because I want this to be able to share this in other places and people not be confused. Wait, I'm on YouTube. Why are you saying Facebook, you know? And then you'll find too that I'm actually having to reorient some of the things I'm saying so that it's more appropriate for YouTube. So if you find me like suddenly like stopping myself or trying to transform what I'm saying, it's because of that, because I'm trying to train my brain to remember that I'm going to be downloading this on YouTube. So I want to make it general, but I will actually continue to interact with the comments because they bring more richness to the conversation. Everyone that comments prompts me to actually consider new things in regards to what I'm saying and actually build on the conversation, because as you know, if you've been following me, I absolutely believe we all build on consciousness. We all actually help each other to see another angle, another aspect, and we actually grow consciousness by doing that and by receiving other people's interests and insights and, you know, communication, and then, you know, adding that to the conversation is super rich. So I will continue to interact with the comments, even though this will be posted on YouTube as well. And people that watch it that maybe don't follow me on Facebook might be like, well, where's Joy? Or where's this person? Where is she talking to? But I think, you know, the thing is YouTube also does lives there. So as I said, I need 1,000 subscribers to be able to go on live. So this is my goal. And because I'd love to go live on YouTube. But I think that if you watch people on YouTube, you'll find that they do lives. And so they also interact with people that make comments on their lives. And so just wanted to give you all a heads up that you might find me trying to reorient some of my wording, because I'm trying to remember that, hey, you know, I'm going to post this or potentially post it on YouTube. And I'm not going to post every one of them on YouTube, because if it's not something that I feel would be of interest to that audience, I won't probably, but I am trying to provide content that will actually help me to expand my YouTube channel and expand the amount of people that can find me if I'm the person that would be beneficial in their lives to share astrology with, and, you know, whatever it is I'm doing in regards to the healing arts. So today what I was thinking is that I'm going to now I want you all to know, if you don't already know this, I actually typically will pull from the Apples of Gold. This is a book of quotes, and I often actually write posts about the quotes, and I'm a little behind. I've actually picked 2 quotes that I'm going to weave together, and I haven't done it, and it's just been because I've been doing other things, and I've been really trying to catch up. And a lot of you know that it was my birthday, and I've found myself being showered with birthday blessings, really. I've had people taking me out to lunches, to dinners, to trips it's just been so much fun. And there's more celebrations coming, so why not just keep celebrating, right? So given that and other things I've needed to catch up on because I was on a trip, I haven't written that post yet, and I just haven't felt called. It just wasn't the thing. And so I'm going to trust that, because maybe when that time comes, it's actually going to be more potent. It's actually going to be more developed and something more of value that I can share with people. So today, though, I was feeling pretty mellow. I didn't feel that I wanted to go deeply into astrological, technical astrological information. But if it naturally flows in that way, I'm happy to do that. But what I was thinking would be interesting, which we haven't done with this apples of gold. There goes the planes. I don't remember it being this loud when I first bought my house. Anyways, I'm going to pick a quote from this apples of gold, and I would like to actually talk about it with you all. Please feel free to comment your inspirations if you feel inspired. But I'm just gonna go randomly pick a quote in regards to our new moon in Virgo, which is coming on the 6th of September, right? So it will be something that we can contemplate as well. If you've watched my previous live, we picked the Mystic card from the archetypal cards from Carolyn Mace, the Carolyn Mace deck, and the Mystic very much goes with our Virgo unconsciousness, as well as that Virgo Pisces axis of consciousness. We all have it somewhere in our chart, and so we're all the mystic, right? And I really believe this new moon, especially because it trines Uranus, Mars is trine Pluto. I think that this is really owning our mystic, our own personal mystic, trusting our own inner guidance, and that is propelling us into our newest becoming and our newest service and contribution to the collective, as well as to the divine. So I'm excited about that Mystic card, and I'm excited to see what we pick here for a quote to also guide us as we move to this new moon in Virgo, and seeding new intentions for our Virgo unconsciousness and our devotions to the divine, and our devotion to the collective consciousness, our devotions to our own self and our own path with the divine, because we all have our own personal path with the divine, and this is the service we bring to life and the collective, which is super sacred. And this is what I love about Virgo consciousness, is that it's really attuning to the sacredness of the collective, the sacredness of the divine, and of every person being a divine expression individually, and bringing that into the collective. So I'm gonna pick a card, or not pick a card, I'm picking a quote. Wow. The quote that I randomly went to is, almost I'm gonna cry, because it's really potent for me. Anyways, help me never to judge another until I have walked 2 weeks in his shoes. This is in the long suffering part of the book. So if you don't know already, this book of quotes has different sections, and then the quotes within each section are in reference for contemplation for that subject, right? So the subject here that I just naturally went to was long suffering. And I'm going to say the quote again, and then let's talk about it if you'd like. So, help me never to judge another until I've walked 2 weeks in his shoes. This is so profound for me in so many ways. And one of the things that's profound for me is just the fact that it says this, it starts with help me. The reason why that's profound is because this morning when I woke up, I was actually preparing some posts for my Anatomy of Psyche group, which this Anatomy of Psyche group is now in the series of Virgo, right? And so we're exploring Virgo consciousness. And what's interesting is that I always like to put artwork with these Chandra symbols that I use. We talk about these energetic degrees. I post energetic degrees that are specific for the members of the group. That way, if they have placements there, they can explore the energy described in the Chandra symbols. If you're not familiar with the Chandra symbols, I highly recommend them. They're beautiful, beautifully written. It's a wonderful practice to go through your natal chart and look at your planetary placements or significant placements in your chart, like the angles, and read the descriptions for that degree. And anyways, so so this morning, I was looking for artwork to put with, and that felt congruent with the degree that I was posting for. And I came across these, what are those called? Magic eyes. Do you know the magic eye arts? It's where it's like all these like little dots and whatever in the picture, and you're like, what is this but a bunch of dots? But if you focus on it long enough, then you actually see inside the photo, and it becomes this like 3D art. And they're also called stereograms. And I had just woken up, so my eyes were a little, our eyes can get kind of like hard to focus. And so I looked at, I was like having a hard time focusing on this one, and I was like, I want to see this one. It was a beautiful one because it had some like statues around it and everything. It was really beautiful, but I really wanted to see like what's inside this picture that I can't see right on the surface, right? But you have to train your eyes to be able to see beyond the surface, right? It's like this depth perception thing that we can train our eyes to actually see. And I think it's very symbolic because it's also training our consciousness to see beyond the surface. And I couldn't see it for a while. And I was just, so I said, okay, help me see this. And immediately I saw it after I said, help me. And then I was doing another one, and there was another magic eyes stereogram photo or picture that I was gonna do, and again I was having a hard time seeing it again. And then as soon as I said help me, I just dropped into my own being, and I just was like, help me see this. And then immediately I saw it. So this is just profound for me, because sometimes I forget that I can ask for help from the divine, that I can just ask for help. This came up yesterday, though. This is why it's so profound, because it came up yesterday, which is why I remembered, oh yeah, I can just ask for help. I know it sounds so simple, but sometimes maybe you've had this too, where, it's actually, I need help. I need to ask for help. So it came up for me yesterday. Maybe it was in one of my classes that I was watching, but it actually initiated me to ask for help today. And it just was like, it came. So this is why I'm also like, wow, here's the words, help me. This is the third time it's come up just today. Help me. And it's just profound. No, help me never to judge another until I have walked 2 weeks in his shoes. This is so Virgo, because Virgo, the part of our Virgo unconsciousness, is about discernment versus judgment. And so it's this exercise with our Virgo consciousness to remember that we're all on our own path with the divine. We're all on our own life path of evolutionary growth. And that we, first and foremost, have to honor our personal path first and what feels right to us based on our relationship to the divine. And where we can get in the shadow sides of Virgo is when we actually judge another's path. Rather than saying, there is some legitimacy to discerning, like, I can see that's not good for me. It doesn't help me, or I don't see it in that way, or I don't resonate with that. That's discernment. But judgment would be that person's bad because they're not on their path, because their path doesn't look like mine, so theirs is wrong, mine is right, or mine is wrong, theirs is right. It isn't that. It's a process. I mean, if there's anything that Virgo teaches, it's that everything is in process. We take one step in front of the other, moment to moment, day to day. And, it's about our routines. It's about aligning with divine consciousness, and it's about aligning with our own personal path with the divine. And, in our relationship to God or the Creator or the divine, however you name that energy, right? And so we find that, people are different. Their service is different. Their service to the collective is different. And their path to the divine is different. Their beliefs are different. And it's, the way that I see it is that God, the Creator, God, Goddess, Source Energy, however you name that, is so diverse and huge and big that it contains all of it. There are many paths to this being that is divine consciousness. And thankfully, we are all on different paths because we actually provide a different insight into something so big that it's almost incomprehensible, or maybe it is just incomprehensible, or, in its complete form to the individual and to the ego. And so the best thing we can do is be in alignment with our own understanding of it and share that, and also receive that from others, even if it's different than ours, because it may bring us a bigger perspective. And I believe it does bring us a bigger perspective. It doesn't mean we won't come across things that we don't resonate with, but I think if we came across it, it was good for us to actually just consider it, consider another point of view so that we have a wider perspective of understanding and insight. So that's really how I see that, because the thing is that, people have had different experiences, which is what brought them to their present moment. And those experiences are valid, and how they interpreted those experiences as part of their path, which is also what has brought them to the present. So, this is where my hope is that as a individual in collective consciousness, that we actually develop this part of our spirituality where we actually recognize that we may not agree, but we also all have an inherent right to share what we see as divine, and that's a personal experience, and that it's actually not helpful, or even, in my opinion, truly, now this is my opinion, but it's not truly spiritual to actually judge another or to degrade another for being different or having a different path of spirituality or spiritual understanding. And it's tricky. It's hard because, there are some fundamental things, like, there is natural law, and there's also certain things we hope that people aren't buying into, in the sense of distortions around spirituality or distortions around belief structures that are actually not healthy for oneself or for others. And the thing is if it's not healthy for another, it's probably not healthy for ourselves. So it's, I just feel like it's really helpful if we could open up and actually receive, even if it's something that we feel is not good for us. We don't have to degrade another person, or because it's like degrading God and God's process, in my opinion, because everything is God's creation, right? So it's like, okay, well, let's try to minimize our judgments and actually just use discernment and go, oh yeah, that's not for me, so I'm gonna look elsewhere, and that's okay, and that's actually not degrading someone else for being on their path, however that leads for them. And I totally believe in God. I totally believe and trust in God's process and God's unfolding and God's creations unfolding. So I think that all is good in the ultimate of things, even though the path to that is not easy, or can not be easy, meaning people have to learn lessons sometimes the hard way. But that's all just, my interpretation so far. I want to go through the comments. So let's see. Awesome. I've been thinking YouTube would be great for you, or maybe you would be good for YouTube is more like. I love you, Joy. Thank you. Yes, that's my hope, is that I will be good for YouTube and YouTube will be good for me. We want that to be a mutual benefit. I love that. Thank you so much. That's an honor that you said that. And yeah, I know. Yes, I love those. I know you're talking about those magic eyes stereograms. Aren't they so cool? I love them too. And Lori, beautiful notion of surrender to. Yes. Help me. Help me. It's just beautiful. I mean, like I said, it just brings tears to my eyes, because in the last couple days, something brought me this to my attention, of like just stopping and saying, I don't have to try so hard. All I have to do is connect to source. Help me. And then there it is, I'm plugged in to source. So it was like instant. So I'm going to keep remembering. It's going to be my new practice when I need help, to ask for help. God, and I'm telling you, it came up yesterday and I can't remember what it was. I did if you're on the live this earlier, I talked about that yesterday. I actually caught up in a lot of classes, so maybe it came in that class, but I'm not recalling it right now where, but it just, or was it something I read? I don't know what it was. As usual, I was tuning into lots of information yesterday, and I realized, oh yeah, help me. I can ask for help. So now I'm doing it. Yes, Lori. Where do we learn to stop asking for help? I'll tell you a story that comes to my mind about myself, is that when I was in college, and so my early, like maybe it was 1920, I was 19 or 20, I came to realize that everything, so I like, since I was a child, I would pray every night, like, I'm like, okay, I'm in bed, now I pray, and I would go throughout my whole day, and I would like think about the things that, oh, I feel good about this, but I don't feel good about that, and so I don't want to do that. And I would ask for forgiveness, because now I see that I wished I hadn't done that. And so like that probably came from some kind of influence in my family. But so I was a big into prayer when I was young. And then when I was 19 or 20, I was in college, and I realized that everything is prayer. Every word I say, every action I take, every moment is prayer. Everything I do is prayer. Everything that I use my energy for is a prayer. And so I stopped praying at night because it was like, I'm praying all the time. Every day, every waking moment is a prayer. Like every thought I'm having is a prayer. It's like prayer, prayer, prayer. Everything is prayer. And so I stopped actually praying at night, like taking the time to sit and pray. And what happened is it actually took me out of this, like everything was a prayer, but then eventually I kind of forgot about that. And then I wasn't being as conscious about everything I'm doing, everything I'm saying is a prayer. So, but then, and so it brought me out of like any kind of a spiritual discipline that I was doing. And I realized over time that was going on. And I also realized that I stopped asking for help. I stopped actually, there's something about that, you know, I stopped actually feeling connected to source energy. And it's because, I mean, really, if it's a human being, like if we stop connecting with them, we're not nourishing the relationship, right? So it's like, it's the same thing with source energy. If we don't nourish that relationship, then, I mean, I believe source is always with us. We're inherently with source. But if we don't pay attention to that, then we don't feel it. And we also if we don't ask, then how are we going to receive it? So I realized that, and I want to share this with you because as I was talking about this, this is what came to me. I think where help me came was, there was a book that I was reading with my friend in California. I think this is where it came from. And we were talking, it was talking about taking, 3 minutes a day, just 3 minutes a day, and really connecting with your soul matrix. So like the soul matrix, not just the world matrix or the matrix on the internet, but your soul matrix. And so I've been doing that because I have to do that. I have to be like making a point to connect with my soul matrix, especially because we are so inundated with information on Facebook, on the internet, and even in the world. And it's so easy for us to take on thoughts and beliefs that are not healthy for us or not good for us. And so like experiences or thoughts of lack or thoughts that produce lack mentality, right? So because the thing is, we live in an abundant universe. So where we're experiencing lack is where we've bought into some kind of lack mentality, right? So I've been like, okay, I want to connect with source, my soul matrix. And I've been doing that. And I found myself saying, help me to connect with my soul matrix. And I think that's where it came from, you guys. That's super powerful. This is super powerful for me. So isn't that amazing that I've been doing this practice every morning, and then actually it like weaved into help me to connect with my soul matrix, and then then I knew I could just ask for help, and then it just like instant. I'm telling you, my eyes like instantly was able to see those pictures where I'd been like striving for it for 5 minutes, and then the second one too is like I was striving for 5 minutes, and then I was like, okay, help me see. Because I wanted to see it so that I could post it with these Chandra symbols for this energetic degree. And then I saw it and I'm like, oh my gosh, instant. So that's how easy it is. It's just asking for help from source. We're all plugged into source. Yeah, so that's the story of where I think I may have began to stop asking for help. Yeah, exactly. It's the intentional dialogue, right? It's like just like you would want to water a plant, you know? I mean, if you don't water the plant, if you don't develop a relationship with it and actually pay attention to it, it dies. I mean, I don't believe that, you know, we source, it's just inherent, but we have to intentionally water that. You know, we have to intentionally put our focus so that we are so connected. Like there's no gaps in the relationship, right? Yeah. Yeah, I need to start again. And you know what I also came to, Lori, is that, that's hilarious. You're watering flowers while listening. That's so perfect. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Totally tuned in. Um, so yeah, I also found, Lori, that I actually had a conversation about this with one of my clients, massage clients, years ago. It may have even have been you, Lori. And it might have been you, Lori. Did we have this conversation before? Because my client said, oh, yeah, you know, when, you know, we move out of practices and, you know, it's natural for us to do that so that we really recognize how much impact they have in our lives. And so we can find ourselves moving out of practices and then moving into the practices and moving out. And it actually cultivates this wider understanding of what the practice is actually giving in your life and nurturing in your life. And then also it gets us to experience different, you know, different realities so that we're more wise, we're more knowing, we're more expanded in our experience. And so therefore we have more wisdom. So, wow. Well, thank you all for hopping on. How fun. And if you have any insights, either now or later, and feel inspired to share in the comments, please do. And if you're watching this replay, or I might post this on YouTube, so if you're watching this on YouTube, then leave me a comment. I'd love to hear if you have any thoughts, comments, questions. And yeah, thank you so much, Lori, for hopping on and for commenting. I'm so thankful for all the comments and the interaction. It's so much fun. So, the quote of moving into this new moon in Virgo, help me never to judge another until I've walked 2 weeks in his shoes. So our path, our personal path, is a total contribution to the collective consciousness. And I think we would probably be able to understand that even more if we were walking in each other's shoes for 2 weeks, right? We would understand that even more. So thanks everyone for your personal path and contribution to the collective. And as you know, I will be back tomorrow.